When I was thinking of this presentation today, I was thinking about the fact that we were focusing on our communities. So I started thinking about what my communities are. So I live in Sonoma County, and I spend a great deal of time at my sweetheart's place in Lake County. I work in the Bay Area, California. I do work in Region 9. I'm trying to make the point that our communities are not just where we live, it's where we work, it's how we are involved. Lake County is an economically depressed area right around Clear Lake, where there's not a lot of economic activity, but it's really beautiful. But these are counties that, if they're not rural still, they were fairly recently, and they're not really urban centers and necessarily really innovative. And Linda and I are on the local task force in Sonoma County, but it's been really, really hard to get them moving in the direction towards zero waste. We ended up writing a almost 30-page document telling them how we think they could move towards zero waste. It's been very, very well received by the Board of Supervisors, the local task force, the JPA. It just seems like us talking about it all these years finally got the ball rolling. And so this is one of the things we're talking about is how to get the ball rolling. So how many of you heard of the Zero Waste Brain Trust? A good number. The Zero Waste Brain Trust is an informal coalition of resource management people and others interested in transitioning our communities towards zero waste. We started in California, but the whole idea in the long run is to create or to augment the worldwide network of zero waste advocates so that we create a system where it's a win-win for all stakeholders. And that is one of our key selling points, that we are working toward a win-win for everybody. So who is the Brains Trust? There's a core team of us that have been doing a number of different projects. It includes Gary Liss, Ruth Abbey, Ted Ward, Linda, and then we have a big advisory board, and then you, any or everybody who steps up to participate in one way or another. So we have websites, we have a blog, and an e-list. So here's the Zero Waste Advisory Board. I'm not going to bore you with it, but would everybody who's on this list please raise your hand? It's quite a big group. Dan, you can raise your hand too. And Robin, right? So last June, we held a series of brainstorms. We invited resource management professionals. And the whole idea is to get people together and start brainstorming on moving towards zero waste. And one reason this is important, because how many people say, oh, bah humbug, there's no way we're going to get to zero. But there's some of us who wake up in the middle of the night and think, aha, what about this? But you never do anything. So this was sort of this, we created a series of meetings where people could bring their ideas or maybe hatch new ones, and that we could gather them and process them in a particular fashion. Our focus was not just zero waste in general, it was on zero waste contracting. Because as you know, if a municipality has their zero waste goal, but it is not integrated with the agreements they have made with the service providers, the processors, and the others involved in the collection and movement of discards, it's not happening. So our focus was on contracting. So we had a number of sponsors, including the City and County of San Francisco, the Northern California Recycling Association, the GRC, the Global Recycling Council of the CRRA, Zero Waste Sonoma County, Grassroots Recycling Network, and we also have a grant from the Altamont Education Advisory Board. So there's 3 projects. And the reason I'm giving you all this detail is because then if you want to replicate or sponsor one of these events, you know what we're talking about. So the first one is the Brainstorm series I just referred to. We had 3 of them with about 30 participants, maybe 35, as well as we held a roundtable where over 100 people came, including representatives of Waste Management, Republic, Recology, and it was very interesting. We have Waste Management on tape expressing their views on zero waste. Very valuable, very interesting. It was a love-in. We had a zero waste love-in. It was very interesting. So we also have this survey, which I'm the major person doing it under the auspices of the Northern California Recycling Association. I have collected maybe 60 different North American municipalities that have made some sort of decision related to zero waste, and I'm trying to track them down. And last but not least, we have the EPA Region 9 Zero Waste Franchise e-guide. We're collecting information on public-private partnerships that support moving toward very, very high diversion or zero waste, 25 or more best contracting practices, as well as we're developing sample contracts and language templates. And this can be invaluable for a municipality that doesn't have much staff, where the people say, we want to move towards zero waste. This will be a very big resource for those people. So we're collecting information about municipal zero waste resolutions, policies, programs, strategies. We're collecting a very broad amount of material, whereas the EPA one is specifically on contracts. One point I want to make to you, and I believe other people have made this point earlier today, is that many, many people have made some progress with establishing these worthy goals. But it's very strange. You can't find anything about it. They'll have whole websites, and I search and I search and search. No mention of the word zero waste. So there seems to be a gap between what the community may want to do and what they're doing. This is quite common, and so that's one of the benefits of the work of the Zero Waste Brain Trust. So this is something that was produced by the City of Oakland that I plan to integrate into the presentation I'm giving at CRRA, how to optimize a zero waste system. And here in California, we have some legislative issues that we're dealing with, including having to have a 2/3 majority of a municipality to make certain kinds of decisions. Just but our legislative environment makes it very hard to move for a municipality to make some decisions right now in general. And the point is that the intersection is about contracts and rate structures. In summary, the Zero Waste Brain Trust is a process by which we either initiated ourselves or invited to a community to bring everybody together to talk about moving towards zero waste, figuring out where a municipality or a community is and what needs to be done to do that. And it uses a specific structure that's designed along the lines of a structured brainstorm so that people kind of know from the get-go what's expected and what they may be able to get out of it. And so far, it's proved very, very successful. And we're going to be posting the results of some of these projects in a few weeks or months. And we'll probably let you know more about that when the time comes. Thank you.